basic premise of the comic book board game is that the story takes place in the comic, and each time the story reaches an action segment, the action then takes place on the game board. When the players complete their mission, the story picks right back up in the comic book again, so the comic kind of acts in the same way as a video game cutscene does. There was a massive shift in the video game world a few years ago when games became much more cinematic experiences. They became almost like playable movies. With Z War, we've tried to emulate that kind of experience and create a playable comic book.
The comic book narrative really gives meaning to the mission objectives. You're not just moving from point A to point B, everything that happens on the board is for a reason, and that reason ties back directly into the story.
The issue 1 box set is a full game in itself. Everything is in there that you need to start playing the game. We have 5 more issues in the Damnation arc, and we have issue 2 completed and available at launch. We're already well underway with issues 3 and 4 too. What we've tried to create with Z War is a true survival horror experience, and I think that for something to qualify as survival horror, it needs to have 2 things. Firstly, of course, it needs to be pant-changingly scary, and secondly, resource management needs to be at the very heart of the game.
Well, the players start each mission with a limited amount of ammunition and equipment. Much of the game's decision making centres around how and when they're going to use that kit. You can run and gun, but your ammo's not going to last very long. Using aimed fire makes you more accurate, but it slows you down. There's always a trade-off.
So the hero that you start with is yours for the whole 6-issue campaign. That's a total of 26 missions. Every time the players complete a mission, they're awarded experience points, and they can use these to level up their character using the perk system. So at the beginning of the game, all that really separates the 4 heroes is their starting equipment set. This rapidly changes once the players start using the perks. Any hero can buy any perk, but the cost of that perk varies depending on the skill set of the hero.
The perk system really gives ownership of these characters to the players. My call, 5 missions into the game, will be totally different to someone else's. Sometimes the perks that you go with are influenced by the other players, and the most successful teams tend to be the ones that build their characters in a way that really complement each other.
From around the midpoint, the first issue, the game gets pretty savage. We constantly ask ourselves, how tough can we make this and it still be a fun experience? If it's playing too easy, we'll make it harder. If it's too hard, it gets tweaked down, little by little, until it's just about survivable. We want players to feel a real sense of achievement in getting through these missions.
There's a lot of variation in the mission types. Most of the missions introduce new mechanics to keep things fresh. The constant throughout all of them, though, is that either through the spawning or the time limits or set pieces, they're paced in a way that really keeps the players under pressure.
The Director mode is an alternative way to play the game. It's a quick play version of the game, which is not part of the comic book campaign. It opens up the game for a 5th player. This 5th player is referred to as the Director.
The Director uses a deck of event cards which they use to control the flow of the game. They spawn extra bad guys in the worst possible places at the worst possible times. They can even take direct control of some of the units and really torment the players.
We still play through scenarios that we've completed 100 times and come up with new ways to beat them. One of the things I'm most excited about with this game is getting it out there and into the hands of the gamers to see what they can come up with.
Well, this is our first Kickstarter, so we've got a lot to prove. Hopefully the people that play the game will be able to feel the amount of love that's been poured into it over the last few years and really get a kick out of what we've created.
Well, with enough backers on board, this will be the start of an epic journey for both us as a new studio and for the players who are going to be experiencing our unique form of storytelling.
We are incredibly proud of what we've done with Z War, and we can't wait to show it to the world. That can only happen with the support of the Kickstarter community. So if you are thinking of supporting the project, don't wait, do it now, because this is a ride you're definitely going to want to be on board for.